What are the biggest historical debates in English grammar? Imagine trying to follow a set of rules that have been argued over 400s of years. That's what makes the history of English grammar so interesting. It's full of debates that show how language changes over time and how people have different ideas about what is correct. These debates aren't just about rules. They reveal how language is used in real life and how it evolves. For students learning English and literature, understanding these debates can help explain why some grammar rules seem confusing or flexible. One of the most famous debates is about the Oxford comma, also called the serial comma. This is the comma placed before the last item in a list of 3 or more things. For example, I like apples, bananas, and cherries. Some style guides say you should always use it to avoid confusion. Others say it's unnecessary and can be left out. This debate affects how you punctuate lists in essays and reports. Knowing whether to use the Oxford comma can change the meaning of a sentence and make your writing clearer. Another big debate is about how many spaces to put after a period. When typewriters were common, 2 spaces after a sentence made it easier to read. But now, with computers and modern fonts, many say just 1 space is enough. Some teachers still prefer 2 spaces, especially in formal writing. This debate is important when formatting papers because it affects how your work looks and reads. The question of who versus whom is also a long-standing discussion. Who is used as a subject like who is coming, and whom is used as an object like to whom are you speaking? Many native speakers use who in both cases, but understanding the difference helps in formal writing and exams. It shows you know proper grammar rules. Double negatives are another area where debates happen. Traditionally, saying, "I don't need no help" is considered wrong because 2 negatives cancel each other out and make a positive. But in some dialects, double negatives are common and accepted. This shows how grammar rules can differ depending on the context or region. It's a good example of how language isn't always strict but adaptable. Ending a sentence with a preposition, like, "Who are you talking to?" has also been debated. Older rules, influenced by Latin, say you shouldn't end sentences with prepositions. But in everyday speech and modern writing, ending with a preposition is perfectly acceptable. This debate highlights how rules can change over time and how language is often more about clarity than strict adherence. The use of hopefully at the beginning of sentences is another point of contention. Some traditionalists dislike hopefully it will not rain because they see it as informal or incorrect. But today, most people accept this usage because it sounds natural and clear. It shows how language evolves to match how people actually speak and write. The difference between less and fewer is a classic grammar debate. The rule says fewer should be used with countable nouns like fewer apples, and less with uncountable nouns like less water. Many people mix these up, and the debate continues about how strict this rule should be. Knowing this helps you write more accurately and follow style guides. Finally, questions about contractions and informal language show how spoken English often differs from formal grammar. For example, aren't I versus am I not, or using double modals like might could. These debates help students understand when to use formal grammar and when informal language is okay, especially in conversations or casual writing. Understanding these debates helps 10th graders see that English grammar isn't always black and white. It depends on context, audience, and purpose. When working on homework or writing essays, it's good to follow your teacher's style guide, learn the formal rules, but also recognize common informal usages. This knowledge makes your writing clearer and more confident. It also shows that language is a living thing, always changing and adapting to how people communicate every day.